Hello, welcome to my little project called The Good, the Bad, and the Scary. It's a play off, The Good, the Bad, and Ugly Clint Eastwood movie, in which basically we'll be following three characters. It's three different saves. I tried to do one save playthrough with Proteus, but just have too much. I have too many mods and there's just too much conflict and bleeding going on that I can't pull that off with the setup that I want. But I do update each save to kind of reflect, each character so that the world feels like, there's actually three people living in it, even if obviously there's three different saves. That's the way I like it, because Skyrim always felt to me like you need multiple characters, because there's a lot of different moralities or alignments going on. So for instance, Sason here is, your quote-unquote good guy. He's a ranger. He originally comes from Hammerfell, obviously, but he comes from a town called Belkarth, which he was basically a merchant caravan guardsman and a scout. So he's very proficient in horseback archery and going out and protecting caravans against, obviously there's a lot of bandit raids and whatnot around that area. But he was set up by other guards within this company he was working for, and he ended up having to flee from Hammerfell to escape, basically persecution and death. And he started a new life in Skyrim. By the time Alduin comes and attacks Helgen and basically destroys it, he's already well established, or at least a seasoned adventurer. So he's already mastered the crafting skills. All the characters have done that, because I think it's boring to sit there and do a bunch of crafting. I'm sure people don't want to see that. So he's already proficient in crafting. He's in his level 50s by the time the series starts, and he's met up with Zora. He's met up with a lot of different companions, but we will follow his story as he goes. The next character, which would be the bad, will be our Nord, Matilda here. She's basically she's just a power-hungry sorceress. I mean, she, has a little more complication to her. She hails from Winterhold, started studying at the college, in her late teens, and picked up on destruction magic pretty easily and showed a lot of talent. And she's been studying there for years until the events of Skyrim unfold, where Alduin attacks Helgen. So her path is basically one of power, right? So that's her goal. She's eventually gonna try to become the Jarl of Iverstead. She's gonna do a lot of things. If she could, she'd try to rule Skyrim as High King, but obviously that won't happen. But she's basically like a lawful good character, is kind of what I would describe her in old D&D terms. Is like she doesn't outwardly show. As a matter of fact, many people love her, right? They think they would probably defend her, if you try to accuse her of, witchcraft or necromancy, right? Or, her specialty is actually demons. Not that she can't do necromancy, but she particularly is specialized with demons. But yeah, anyway, if anyone tries to, say anything bad about her,
What's all the commotion?
there would be people that defend her, but she's obviously doing things on the sly.
Don't do that!
And of course, last but not least, we have the scary, which is Sheva Letrush. She is a Breton, who hails from Daggerfall originally. Her father was a Redguard merchant, and her mother obviously was a Breton woman, a skilled artist, and they would obviously, travel together, the whole family, selling wares, going from town to town, or city to city, if you will. And then eventually, one, trip, they actually crossed into Skyrim because they had some extra wares that they want to get rid of before heading back to Daggerfall. And of course, they were attacked by a coven of vampires. Many of them were slain, including both Sheva's parents. She and others were abducted and turned into thralls. Eventually, and put to work and, abused and humiliated and, yeah, in ways that probably could break a normal person. So she has a lot that she's dealing with, and that's made her into the assassin that she is now. Her morality is complicated. She's the kind of assassin that might shed a tear if she has to kill someone, that isn't necessarily who she wants to go after. Or, who she deems as a worthy victim. So, she's been known to find ways to get out of contracts. She's a complicated figure. She's basically using the power of darkness and the fate that was dealt to her to try to bring some good and some order into the world. So she has to do that through dark means. Almost think of it like a good person who does bad things in order to do good things, which makes them a bad person, because that never equates, right? So that's her. She's just complicated. And basically, her goal is to, take over the underground, okay? So this is Dark Brotherhood, this is Thieves Guild, this is the Vampire Clan. And so she's more of a, shadowy figure. You're not going to find her, trying to be, a lord commander of some keep like Sason, or a minor jarl like Matilda. And so that is Sheva Letrush. And to basically cap this all off, I'm like a amateur when it comes to freaking modding and diagnosing problems. You'll probably hear me in the first episodes complain about certain mods that I think are messing with, my gameplay. But you can disregard those because we all know that it was Nether's follower framework the whole time. No, actually, it's a really good framework. I suggest you try it out. It's just it wasn't working with Sason and some of the complicated characters that he has. It worked fine with Sheva and Matilda. but I was having a lot of issues getting freezes and crashes on Sason. So if you hear me complaining about mods, especially like say the first 15 episodes, that's disregard that. It's probably not the issue. So the issue I found was Nether's follower framework. I removed it, put in multiple follower framework, and voila, everything worked. So that concludes my clunky, unorganized introduction to my series, and then I'll just start uploading stuff. I try to role play, and I also talk about other stuff. I mean, I might talk about whatever, usually relating to the game and jankiness and mods and whatever. So I hope you enjoy and have a good time. Later.